Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
And I'm Jeff Mayo.
And we are joined once again by Will Outlaw.
I'm here.
Yep, he's continuing his takeover.
Yeah. I missed 1 week. It's all right.
He's slowly, more and more, like eventually he's going to take me over this, just going to be him and Jeff, and then eventually he's going to kill Jeff,
yep.
and then he's going
I'll just talk to myself in this podcast.
Yep. And it'll probably be far superior than it is now. Well, we're back. We missed last week because finals are horrible.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I guess me and Darby didn't talk about it. There's a chance we can miss next week or it not being all of us because mixture of finals and I'm out of town most of next weekend. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Well, I don't even think I knew that, but...
Yeah. You knew
it's
about...
all part of my plan.
You knew about the Data Remember thing, but...
Okay.
I'm
gonna, me and Will could do it.
We'll talk about our schedule and stuff.
We'll figure it out. I might not be able to do it because of finals either. But... even having a week off of this, I have still not had time to play anything because it's been ridiculous. But I think you guys actually have carved out some sort of free time to play
a little,
something.
Yes,
briefly.
Okay, well, why don't you go first?
I mean, basically, I played a couple more hours of Mass Effect, I guess. But I mean, with Mass Effect, I didn't even get to another combat point. I basically spent an hour and a half or 2 hours just talking to crew members on my spaceship. So there's Mass Effect for you. Yeah. And then I played online Battlefield, but that's about it.
I mean, that's like half the game though. Is like talking to your this is building up the relationships with the people in the crew. Anyway, but you're still liking it.
Yeah, I am. I mean,
still like slightly disappointed.
I think a little bit. Yeah. I think it's also just like I'm still probably in the beginning-ish, so it's still a little slow.
Yeah.
But I think once I find another planet or something, it should amp up a little. So.
Cool.
Yeah, you've been playing. I know Zelda. I mean, that's just kind of like that's gonna be a.
I'm farther, guys. I'm making progress. I could be done in the next couple weeks.
How many shrines you at around?
When I was playing this morning, I think I was at 70 out of 120.
Yeah. 120. You trying to 100% or anything?
Not 100% the game, because then I gotta find out how
seeds.
Yeah, the Korok seeds. I'm really considering, unless some of them are a major pain, doing all the shrines. I enjoy doing those.
Yeah.
But people don't know there are 4 main dungeons. Not really a spoiler. I've done 3 of them. So, and I've unlocked most of the map. I'm just going to go through the map, do the last dungeon, and then I probably will try to do all the shrines before I try to fight Ganon. Just trying to get everything done, so Ganon will be the last main thing I do. I want that to be the end.
Are you as far as story missions, are you most of the way there? It's just like...
Yeah, I know there's a certain number of story missions I saw at some point. I think I had done most of them. It makes sense that the last dungeon I have to do would be the rest of them. And also, I got the Master Sword.
Nice.
Like a week ago, so...
That's in this game?
Yeah.
Spoilers!
And yeah, I felt good getting the Master Sword.
Yeah.
They did a good job with that, I think.
I know multiple people out there that got to the Master Sword or something and couldn't have it, or so they didn't have the.
I won't say that there's some requirements to get it.
Yeah.
I barely met the requirements. I didn't know what exactly they were. I kind of had an idea, but I just happened to meet it exactly. So that was a nice surprise, and to be honest, I accidentally found it because I really been trying to go in this game blind.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh. Nice.
Just from the few hours I've played before, that's all I want to do is just randomly wander around that game. Yeah. I'll probably accidentally find everything because I won't be looking for anything.
Yep, except all the Korok seeds. If you somehow did that, I would question your sanity.
So I've heard people complain about how well are they hidden? Are they just tiny little
I mean, yeah, they're not really hidden, but they're everywhere. So you use them to upgrade your bag so you can carry more weapons and stuff. But I think they're hidden well enough to where unless you're just really not looking, you're going to find enough to upgrade your bag enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think them having enough, the 900 there or whatever, is good. So that means people will find them. People will find them throughout their journey if they're just looking around.
Yeah.
They won't find all of them, but find enough to, since they are upgrading their stuff.
Just if you're trying to actually get all of them and you get to the point where it's like, okay, well now I have like 50 and I have no clue where any of them are.
Is there a reward for finding all of them?
Yes, I have looked at that because I'm not going to do this anyway, so I might as well look.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, if we remember, I'll tell you afterwards.
Sounds good.
It's interesting. But yeah, I am
You
loving
get Nintendo
Zelda.
Switch pants to go with your Nintendo Switch shirt.
He's like, yes.
Yeah.
I got it.
No, that's not it. But yeah, it's interesting. But another game I've been playing, not much, because school and stuff. Yooka Laylee finally came out.
Yep.
2 years ago when I backed it, or whatever it was.
Oh, you did back it.
Yep.
That's cool.
And so my names are in the credits.
Hey.
You're able to look at the credits right away, but I'm like, I'm going to beat the game. I'm going to earn trying to find my name.
You gonna take a picture of it?
Yeah. I'm going to probably screenshot it. Try to.
What if it goes down like Entertainment Tonight or whatever style where it goes down at like 30 miles per hour. It's like,
then
It probably will let you scroll, I would assume.
hopefully. We'll see.
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, I have played a couple hours. I'm liking it a lot. I guess to give you an idea of how far there are 5 worlds in this, and you can expand every world. So it allows you to pick if you want to go to the next world at any time, as long as you have the pages, the main collectibles, or expand the world. So you get choice. And yeah.
Are you playing on PS4?
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's an important thing to note.
but does it feel like? Does it give you the same feelings of when you played the Banjo games?
Yeah. Obviously, it's a little different because I'm older and stuff, and it's not as new. But yes, it gives obviously the vibes, gives that sense of nostalgia. And playing it, I understand why people have reviewed it the way they have. I expected it, but what people didn't like about it, I like about it.
I mean, is it like 70s or something Metacritic? Or
It's low 70s.
It's like 60s, 70s around that.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
high 60s, low 70s mainly, wherever it is. I think the different consoles, the Metacritic score is different, but which it's about what I expected. There are a couple other issues, just general things like I've only played one of the mini games that can you play multiplayer. It's not that great, good, or not that good. Probably bad, but I really
Talks
see
himself out of it.
Yeah, I can. You play. You got to do it. To go through the game or get a pagey. You got to play through it. I can definitely see it doing multiplayer, just not being that good. It's like a kart racer thing, but top down. It's like, what's the point of doing this? We're about to get Mario Kart.
Yeah.
But the other ones look like they might be more fun. So yeah. Like I mentioned in this podcast, for me the mini games are a one night of dumb fun.
Yeah.
That's not why I got the game.
It's just kind of an added bonus there.
But yeah.
But they feel like I know I guess it does not really feel modern, which I guess it didn't need to, but
No, again, I get why people reviewed it this way because I think Playtonic definitely met what they were trying to do and what they said they were going to do. And I can know why people wouldn't like that. But from what I've seen, most of the people who did back the game, like me, are really liking it. This is for a niche, and I think some people had some expectations of this doing for 3D platformers what Shovel Knight did for 2D platformers as far as indies goes. And it didn't do that, so people were upset about it. But if it did that kind of stuff, like, great, but it did exactly what I wanted. I didn't expect like a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 game.
right.
Especially since this is not a very expensive game.
And that, or how much was it?
Yeah, how much is it?
Well, I paid $25 when I backed it. it's $40 retail now because they ended up making it bigger than they originally intended because the Kickstarter did so well.
Is it digital only?
No, it's physical.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's also if you love the Banjo games, which a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for those, kind of seems like it's just an extension of that. I mean, kind of a love letter too.
But again, I guess going back, there are a couple of just general problems with it. The camera's not great. It can kind of turn at some point and make it some platforming annoying in some spots. I'm generally speaking, it's not just because I like the have nostalgia for the Banjo games. Normally for me, I'm not as bothered by that. Yeah. That kind of stuff. I mean, just say that. I don't think it's necessarily as bad as people made out to be. But again, there was a patch after people reviewed it. So what I'm getting may not be nearly as bad as what the reviewers played and when they wrote it. And I'm not really noticing any bad like frame rate stuff. I think some reviews said, but I think a lot of those were on the Xbox One, which was apparently always a little inferior to the PS4, I think.
Yeah.
Is it on Nintendo stuff?
It's to be announced, released, or whatever, because I think it was going to be on the Wii U, but they canceled it for the Switch.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I'll have more impressions. I am enjoying it a lot. Just having much time to play at school, and I'm just taking my Switch to school, so just play more Zelda. Once summer gets here in about a week, I'm done with school, I'll probably really dive into Yooka-Laylee and I don't think it'll take that long for me to beat it. I mean, also looking at the trophy list, not really. I heard it wasn't spoilery at all, so I just looked at it. The hardest thing is really collecting stuff, so this probably will be my first platinum.
First, nice.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, Jay. In advance, congrats.
Yeah.
You should at least play the Telltale games. Get a couple.
I've been meaning to.
Those are easy.
Yeah.
That's what I have 3 platinums, but it sounds better than it is because one of them's Telltale.
Yeah.
The other one's a Sly game, like Sly Cooper, but I didn't even mean to get the platinum. I just played and it just happened. I was like, oh, that was easy. And then the other one was Rocket League, which I also didn't mean to until I saw that I had one more left. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll just do it now. But
I mean, you could like a trophy. I'm probably not going to be trying too hard. The collecting 100% thing, like I said, is probably the hardest. The rest of the stuff just kind of happens. Mm-hmm. I think for the most part, I mean, if you're not planning on collecting everything, why are you playing these games? Unless you're just trying to, unless you're just trying to get straight through to the end. But that's boring.
Well, cool. I'll be playing Horizon whenever school finally lets me. I'm gonna lock myself in my room and play for hours.
Whenever we come back, we'll probably have some full version Player Tetris impressions and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe impressions.
Yeah, we will with the Player Tetris enthusiast Will Outlaw.
It's just true. I came to consult.
But yeah, those both come out this week, so.
Nice.
That's great. And we're getting them both on Switch, obviously, for Mario Kart 8, but Player Tetris as well. Player Tetris is also going to be digitally only on PS4, just so people know, for $30. So if you're interested. I know there's a demo on the Switch. I don't see why there wouldn't be a demo on the PS4 if you wanted to try it out.
And you might just get all your satisfaction just from the demo.
Maybe.
Yeah, seriously.
But Darby and Will really want to know. Again, I don't think they really looked into it, but there are a bunch of crazy modes into it, which makes more sense of justify getting the full game instead of just keeping with the demo.
Okay, Jeff.
Yes.
Play Tetris is fun. It's great. I love it. But Star Wars.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Star Wars.
Okay.
Enough.
It's time.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, what Dari means is we're going into the news, and I guess you can take a guess the general topic of the first bit of news. We're going to talk about Star Wars Battlefront II because it has been officially announced. And also just so people know, I'm going to try at least something a little different overall with the news thing instead of just reading articles straight through because I understand that's probably not the most interesting thing. But I'm going to do more bullet pointy things, except when, a story later will justify this. It, justifies me reading kind of through it or reading whole statements or anything. So, yeah, articles will be much shorter and, so we get to the conversation. Okay, now let's get started. This information comes from articles written by Andrew Goldfarb and Alex Osborne, both from IGN. So yeah, Star Wars Battlefront II has been announced. It comes out November 17th on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And its campaign will take place in the 30-year period between the end of Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. The story will follow protagonist Iden Versio. I don't know.
Good enough.
Star Wars names.
Yeah. And I think it's a she who leads an elite Imperial unit called Inferno Squad. And players will get the chance to play as well-known characters like Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren during the campaign. So, how do you guys feel about that part?
So, like, I was kind of surprised to see that they're, like, doing everything, like, prequels, too. Like,
oh, yeah.
During, like, I saw that trailer and it was, like, Darth Maul came out. I was like, oh, wait, what?
I'm definitely glad they are, though. I think the people that are playing those games are kind of fond of the prequels anyway.
Yeah, and even if you're not, like, I mean, like, there's things, I think the prequel movies have a lot of problems in this and all that stuff, but the actual, like, the locations and the characters and stuff, you can do cool things with those. And I've played like the other Battlefronts, like the PS2 ones or whatever. And like, I want to see what the Frostbite engine looks like with like some of these settings. Like, what's
Naboo.
Naboo, like the Windows screensaver.
Yeah.
And what was the like island planet with or the beach place with all the Wookiees? It starts with a K.
Kashyyyk? Is that it?
Maybe.
Kashyyyk.
Look at me.
Look at Jeff. Nope. I think
remember.
it's Kashyyyk.
It might be Kashyyyk, yeah. But I want to see all those places, and I think that like you should embrace all the different things of Star Wars, and you don't have to. It's obvious that the like main story is not going to really be with the prequels and stuff, and I don't think they should focus on that.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool to have that in there. Okay.
Kashyyyk.
Yep, you were right.
Yeah, I think
at one point I knew all of the planets, but
I think the time period is pretty cool too. I mean, obviously that's ripe for stories that we haven't seen before. The 30-year period between the two.
As far as planets, there's one called Alderaan, right? Did it explode?
Yeah,
did I do good?
Spoilers.
It's spoilers, Jeff.
For 1977 Star Wars.
I got that information from Family Guy, I believe.
Oh, Jeff, you're a disgrace.
Yep. Okay, going on. Lucasfilm has confirmed that Battlefront 2 story will be canon within the Star Wars universe, and it will be written by Walt Williams, which was the lead writer of Spec Ops: The Line, and Mitch Dyer, former editor for IGN. And this information comes from Twitter, the Twitter accounts.
Yeah, Mitch is awesome.
Yeah,
I love following him at IGN.
But
the fact that it's gonna be like it's canon with the movies, right?
Yes,
which is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and it's as an outsider, this kind of thing's like this sounds awesome, but if they screw it up, it sucks.
But what this kind of tells me is that they must really believe in this. Like,
yeah,
they must be really
they're going to put some care into this, and it's not just be a throwaway shooter story.
I think ever since they like redid the whole canon thing for Star Wars, they've been really careful with what they allow into the canon. So, yeah, I mean, the fact that they're allowing this shows something about it for sure.
Yeah, that's why I think it's going to be something that, like, yeah, Disney and everyone's, like, you know, looking after this and making sure it's quality, because it could affect this gigantic multi-million-dollar movie franchise.
And this is... I mean, we need to talk about this one more, but this is good advertising, I think, for The Last Jedi, because it comes out I guess a month before it comes out. That just gets people more excited for it.
For sure.
Yeah. No, that's what the Star Wars hype will just never end now. It's video games going right into movies. And, like, I think they're going to have Last Jedi stuff in this as well, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay. Next,
let me say, I just want to say, like, the Walt Williams, I actually haven't played Spec Ops: The Line, but I've heard it's a fantastic game and story. So that's pretty exciting that he's going to be writing for this.
Yeah. Everyone said that's one of the best like shooter like campaign like stories in a game like that there is.
Okay, going on. This will be a little longer read. Just talking about some gameplay. Battlefront 2's multiplayer It's once again developed by DICE, who developed the first game. Battlefront 2's multiplayer will span all the eras of Star Wars films and will have playable heroes and villains including Rey, Luke, Yoda, Darth Maul, and more. Modes will support up to 40 players, and maps announced so far include Yavin 4, Mos Eisley's, and Star Killer Base. There's some nerds somewhere cursing me. And cursing my family.
I love that we're getting Jeff to read all this
Star Wars stuff.
Space Battles will also return and are in development by Criterion, who previously worked on the Burnout franchise as well as the X-Wing VR experience in the first Battlefront. EA said Battlefront 2 offers high-stakes dogfights and with land and air vehicles, and players will be able to pilot ships including a First Order TIE Fighter, the Millennium Falcon, and more.
The part of the trailer that I thought looked awesome was the space battle with all the ships, because that was missing from Battlefront 1 for sure.
It's, in a lot of ways, it kind of seems like this is it's the Battlefront that like we kind of expected and wanted last time. Because Battlefield, Battlefront, it was fun, but it was incomplete. Like there were so many things missing.
Completely agree, and that was probably part of like, they were getting it out before Force Awakens. And I think this one looks loads better. So
there's so much more polished. Like, there's the single player campaign. There's the space battles.
Yeah,
both of those were like sorely missing, and that I probably would have played a lot longer if it had stuff like that.
And I mean, obviously, the Force Awakens was going to be big no matter what. But after seeing how big it is, I realized, okay, we got to put a little more care into this, especially after hearing complaints about the first one. And it seems like I didn't really play Battlefront that much. I may play like 1 or 2 games with you guys, but it seems like they're listening to people's complaints.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They addressed all that in this one trailer.
And the fact that, they came out and that was the first things they're showing. Here's story, here's space battle, here's all this.
Here is stuff, not just the original trilogy.
Yeah. Like literally, those were the complaints. Like they really addressed everything.
Yeah. Now, it kind of makes this look more appealing because you got the prequel stuff, and now you're getting the new trilogy stuff. Since you can play as Rey and Kylo Ren and stuff. And
I think, it's the next part of this, but maybe the fact that it doesn't have a season pass is just another, just another showing, I guess, that
they're listening.
That it's going to be a complete package. They're not waiting to release stuff.
And they're not trying, just to get your money slowly throughout time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And do you like Splatoon type thing and maybe roll out some stuff? I don't know how exactly they're gonna.
Yeah, and I feel like a video game Star Wars thing, you should obviously the story's probably gonna be serious and awesome and everything, but when it comes to the combat, let me do goofy things like let me have Darth Maul fighting Yoda and
awesome.
stuff. I mean, let us do crazy. I hope they even maybe in some modes or something let you go let Darth Maul fight Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Just who cares?
Well, I assume they'll let you do that in the
But in the old Battlefront games, it was the heroes were tied to locations. If you were fighting,
that's right.
Yeah, if you were fighting at a location that was original trilogy one, you would have certain heroes, and if you fought in one with prequels, you'd have other heroes. So you couldn't just intermix.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
fix that.
Hopefully,
fix it.
Well, also here's a thought I had. The no season pass thing, and hopefully do some free content after The Last Jedi's been out for a little bit. They roll out some Last Jedi material, maps or something, or new characters. I don't know what's going to be in this, obviously, especially I don't know Star Wars.
No, I'm sure they'll have different places. I mean, obviously none of us know, but you could even have old Luke or have all this other stuff.
But obviously, not obviously, but. No, don't put Last Jedi stuff in the beginning. Mission's out a month before the movie. Don't put spoiler stuff in there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That would be awful.
Have they said is the Last Jedi stuff coming out after? They have already said it's coming out afterwards, or is it?
Okay, this is going on. The only episode 8 stuff that Last Jedi stuff I've seen that they're doing is skins for Kylo Ren and Rey as pre-order bonuses. That's all I've seen.
Okay.
And I assume that's day one. That those are just costumes. So.
Yeah.
As long as you're not, I don't know.
The costume is a dead Rey.
Bloodied Rey. Oh my gosh.
Enjoy the movie.
Yep. And I guess one last game-related thing is offline local co-op is exclusive to consoles. I figured that was worth pointing out.
Wait, awful. That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, so it's not going to be on PC,
Yeah.
the local co-op stuff.
Mm.
I figured that was worth putting in there. And, Daria, you might be looking at this doc and wondering what the last thing I have on there is. I want to give a shout out to Paul Blackthorne, who's apparently playing a character in this. For people who do not know, he plays Black Canary and White Canary's dad in the CW DC shows.
Well, shout out to you, Paul.
Paul, I know you're a listener, so
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Here's the Paul.
No, he's a good actor. I was like, yeah, he's someone I know.
What if he hears this, Joe?
I don't know.
Well, what will you do? Like, what will you do?
I'm gonna tweet it at him
Cry.
after this.
All right, Paul.
I figured that'd be something for.
Do you know who he's voicing?
He's good.
Ray.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be an Inferno Squad dude. Okay, on to the next bit of news. Unless you guys have more to say about this.
I could talk about Star Wars for an entire podcast.
We have 4 hours.
Okay, guys, it's gonna turn into the Last Jedi podcast. Everyone talk about their feeling of the trailer.
Oh yeah, trailer reactions. All right, Willis. Trailer looks awesome. That's all right. We can move on now.
Okay. Well, we like game announcements here, so we got another game announcement. Code Vein, which is a game by Bandai Namco, has been announced.
Or Namco Bandai, whichever you prefer.
I always forget which one it technically is. What it officially is.
It's so dumb.
But yes. So, information comes from KC De Freitas, butchered that, and Alicia Judge from IGN. So yeah.
Sorry, Casey.
Yeah. The team behind God Eater is developing a new project, Code Vein, and it's aiming to create a new dramatic exploration, hard action RPG, and it's for unknown consoles. And it's
hard action.
Yes. And it's completely unrelated to God Eater, the God Eater series. Okay. Has anyone here played God Eater?
Nope.
I played, I think 2, maybe, is that it? I think on my PSP when I had one. Or was it my Vita? One of those. I enjoyed it. So, yeah. Apparently, the development for Code Vein is about 35% complete. And expect a full trailer in early May. And they released some screenshots for it as well. Yeah, it looks anime art style, but not over the top anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool. I really like the art style. Like you said, it's definitely Japanese, and it's definitely like kind of like crazy and flashy, but it also
It's not Persona levels.
yeah. Which Persona's awesome, but it's definitely like it's not too much. It's not overbearing, so it looks like something that could potentially catch on here. Like it might not be too much for here. Mm-hmm. And I want to see more about it, but the trailer excites me just from style and art and art wise.
Yeah, people who haven't seen it, they usually like a 30-second little teaser trailer thing. Yeah, it's a little artsy and it looks cool. The general art style they're going for is cool, and I guess a quick description, better description of the game than what I've said. It says, in Code Vein, you take the role of a revenant, which is a vampiric creature that can drain the blood of their enemies in order to gain new skills, weapon abilities, and attacks.
So, you're vampires.
Yep. And there's a lot more for its gameplay description up on the IGN articles you want to look for. This is a lot of stuff to read for a game we really don't know anything about. Like, no official gameplay.
35% complete.
Yeah. But, yeah, stuff's sounding cool. Like an action RPG type thing I can get into.
Yeah.
But apparently some people are upset about this thing because the Ready to Die thing everyone thought was a reference to Dark Souls stuff.
Oh, yeah. I saw something about that. I didn't understand.
And since it's the God Eater team, people are kind of like, oh.
That's funny.
Yeah. Still might be. It probably was a reference to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. But this was cool, and yeah, we'll probably definitely talk about that trailer if it comes in early May.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the next thing. Not a game announcement, but a game release date announcement. Well, for Japan at least. Okay, this information comes from Joe Scribbles. Fake name from IGN. I don't believe that's a real name. Okay. Dragon Quest XI has been announced for a July 29th release date in Japan on the PS4 and 3DS.
No, I didn't know it was just. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I didn't mention that.
No, it's fine.
Okay, with the announcement of the release date, they also announced a bundle called the Dragon Quest XI Double Pack. Here is Sword Box. Just for Japan, and it will include both versions of the game, the PS4 and 3DS versions, and a hollowed out book style cases packed into a large sword case box. And it will cost 14,960 yen, which is approximately 135 US dollars. So yeah, I think that double pack thing is a pretty cool idea. Hopefully they don't do the whole special box thing and just give us we do the double pack, just the games, so it doesn't cost that much.
Yeah.
But then we just talk about how weird it is, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people who are not paying attention, this is a double pack for a PS4 version and a 3DS version.
It's
in one package.
It's so weird that was even allowed to happen. Which, I mean, maybe that's more like, I don't know. Could that happen in America? Like, would that ever be a thing?
I'm really interested to see what it looks like the box. Or whatever.
I think they have a kind of picture of the general thing on.
PlayStation Nintendo's just fighting for who gets more of the box.
Separate corners or something.
And I guess to talk a little more about Dragon Quest XI in general, there are 3 separate versions, which makes it confusing since we only talked about 2 consoles going to be on. But the PS4 is a high-resolution 3D game, while the 3DS version can be played as either a low-resolution 3D game or a 2D game with classic pixel art. So, from my understanding for the 3DS version, on the top screen you will have the 3D models, and at the bottom you'll have the classic 2D pixels. I don't know if this part's true, but I think it starts out that way for a little bit, and then you can pick it wanting just one. So you don't have both kind of just clashing. Yeah. But the game will be exactly the same, just the look will be different.
Yeah. That is has that been done before? Because I don't feel like I've seen that.
At least definitely not in this way.
Where you can play the entire game as an old school
It looks awesome on the 3DS.
Or as a fully 3D thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool, especially if you can pick and kind of switch back and forth if you just want to.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
The closest thing I can think to something like that is with Fire Emblem, you can, if you wanted to, just look down at the sprite things or whatever. You can just do it just that way or whatever. But it's not really this is really cool that they took the time to make it both ways.
Yeah. And I think the gameplay between the PS4 and 3DS versions are very similar. It's just, I think the story is supposed to be the same. Just obviously it looks different.
Yeah.
And there'll be some differences, but yeah, for the most part.
What mode do you think you would choose?
Between the 3D and the 2D pixels? Honestly, it would just depend how the 3D looked. If it was really good, I'd probably go with that. But if it was kind of janky, I guess, for lack of a better word, I'd probably go 2D. Yeah. And it could also have that nostalgia feel, which, I have no doubt this game's going to be really good, at least. So, a really good, recently released 2D pixel, JRPG would be cool.
Yeah. So,
if they do release this here, the double pack, and it's not badly priced, or we don't get the Switch anytime after it's released, yeah, I'd do that. I'd consider it. But yeah, since I just mentioned the Switch in this presentation, there was no mention of the Switch version, despite Square Enix previously saying that it would be released simultaneously with other formats, because spoilers will emerge if we release one version earlier. Well, no doubt Square Enix. But there's also, also IGN Japan confirms that Square Enix had no comment of when or if the Switch version would see release. And I think mentioned earlier, Square Enix Europe had no comment on whether the double pack would come to the West. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I got a feeling the Switch version will come out later, and then we'll get that much later because Japan to the West.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I want to put this in here, even though it's a Japanese release date, maybe a little thing of as maybe predicting when do you think it could come out here, if at all.
I mean, I thought
This stuff is coming quicker.
I was hoping we were past this. It would have been really cool if Dragon Quest just was simultaneous.
It'd probably be my summer game if it was coming in July.
I mean, like the easy answer from past things, it's just like a year later.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's
I would
crazy.
probably say next summer, but I mean, maybe this fall, maybe. But I don't know if releasing a Dragon Quest in America this fall is a good idea, because it's just not nearly as big of a deal here.
I just had a quick thought because Square Enix, and especially Dragon Quest games, has a good relationship with Nintendo. During the Direct, E3 Direct, they announced Dragon Quest 11 for the Switch. Like, do more into that, show that, and announcing the US release date for like this fall.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like that's more likely if they're going to do it at E3 conference than like Sony's.
And it did, like, it came out like if anyone listening remembers, like when this Dragon Quest was like revealed or announced or whatever, it was announced like with the NX, like there was a simultaneous thing with Nintendo, so it's kind of strange that we're not hearing anything about the Switch.
Yeah, and then it brings up the conversation of which version is the Switch going to get, the PS4 version of Dragon Quest 11 or the 3DS version.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the PS4. It may not probably not going to look as good, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be that one. Because while I think Dragon Quest 11 looks fantastic, I don't necessarily see it as anything that will keep it from being on the Switch.
Graphical powerhouse crazy thing.
Yeah.
So,
something to look out for.
yeah, I'm excited to hear more.
It's disappointing that we're not in the age of just complete simultaneous releases now.
Yeah, bright side is at least since this is coming out not long from now, we should get it, even sooner than we thought. Because I think most people were thinking the soonest the thing would come out is like early fall.
Oh wow.
I think that's what people were. That's what I was thinking at least. So, I am pleased with that release date, and hopefully we just get it soon. So I'm excited. Hey, guys, want to move on to the next story?
Let's do it.
Okay, this is a quick thing, and it's from Alex Osborne from IGN. Sony has announced a new PS4 Slim, at least for the Americas. It's and it's coming this month, so April, or it should be. So it might already be out when you're listening to this. Who knows? But the main difference is it's gonna have a 1 terabyte hard drive, and it's gonna be $300, and it's been out in the UK since September.
1 terabyte's nice.
Yeah. So, did I mention it was a Slim? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, this is so to be clear, this is just the PS. It's not like a PS4 Pro or anything. This is just normal PS4.
Yeah, it's the normal,
smaller.
the Slim. Yeah, and $300, which I think is the same price as the 500 gigabytes it currently is. $300.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah. I never had any of the other Slims. I never had the PS2 Slim. I always had the giant brick.
Really?
Yeah.
I have the super slim PS2.
So do I.
Yeah, most people did. I think I got mine like very early. So
Yeah.
it's a hunk.
Yeah.
So if people are looking for a new PS4 but don't want to pay out for a PS4 Pro, I don't really care for that stuff, this is a good option for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll want that extra 500 gigabyte hard drive. Or terabyte. But
I'm
extra
at the
500.
point now where I have to, every time I get a new game, I have to like delete other ones.
Oh yeah, it's so frustrating.
Really annoying.
That even when you have a disc, that auto having still downloaded is, I still find it stupid.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, didn't have to do that last console generation, but
At least Nintendo hasn't done that. Not doing that. Especially since one game would fill it all up.
yeah.
Yeah, they kind of can't do that.
Yeah.
It'd be like you could literally you could only have one game downloaded to your Switch at a time, and you have to delete the entire thing if you want to play another one. That's basically how that would
I'll
work.
stick to downloading just the small games on my Switch so I can have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the next story. This comes from Alex Osborne at IGN, like most things we talk about. There is going to be a Prey demo coming out this upcoming Thursday, April 27th, on Xbox One and PS4. And so people can be reminded, the game comes out on May 5th, which in less than 2 weeks. And the demo is of the game's opening hour, and also so people know, progress will not carry over from the demo to the real
Sad.
game.
This is smart because I feel like Prey looks like it's probably gonna be a really good game. It looks like a really well made and like a lot of thought put into a game. But I don't feel like there's been all that much talk about it. Like, there's been some in games media, but not really. I haven't seen that much because, again, this is a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a little window here where there's not too much coming out right now, like after Persona 5. So this is a good time to come out. And if you have a demo, like, I'll definitely play this. And, like, I'm interested in Prey, but not enough to buy it. But maybe if I play this demo, I might be sold on it.
I got a long weekend in between exams. Since it's an hour, I'll probably play it by next weekend. Just to give it a try.
Demos are just a lost art that I've missed because I love, like, in the 360 era, I would just randomly get a few and play them.
Yeah.
I think the Prey demo is going to be awesome.
Yeah. And sorry to go back to this game, but Puyo Puyo Tetris, we got that. I got that thing kind of as a joke.
Yeah.
We loved it.
And we probably never would have.
Yeah, no, we
never would have blindly just put down $30 on Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
And even if we saw a video of it, we would have been like, that kind of looks dumb. Like, you don't know until you played it. And there's probably a lot of games that I honestly probably would have bought if I could have
tried it,
given it a try like that. If I could have played a demo. So.
And I think
it's such an easy thing to do. I'm saying it's an easy thing to have like on the PS, like on the store. Like you can just download the demo, you play it, and you delete it or whatever. I mean, it's just.
And I think it's smart for Bethesda to just make it the game's opening hour.
Yeah.
Not just some, it's just the game. How you will start the game, and not just some section that's just kind of tailor made for a demo.
Yeah, and it's not really representative.
I think this is smart for Bethesda because Dishonored 2 did not meet expectations sale-wise. Game-wise,
like critically, it was. Yeah.
But I think this helps, especially with the whole review policy. So
That's
people
true,
will get their hands on it, and even if it is a little disappointing from a business standpoint, people already have an idea of the game, and if reviews kind of contradict that, now that could help them sales-wise if people like the demo, but turns out the whole game's not that great. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but
yeah. I just think it's smart. I just think we need more of those. I just wish every game had that.
I agree.
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, like you were saying, it's not like they have to tailor make a demo section. Just do like the first hour or whatever. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see I know it says opening hours, so I guess they'll just stop it at a point. So to see how they do that. But I don't know too much about Prey because I'm kind of avoiding stuff. I'm going to read some reviews and just hear impressions because I feel like I'll definitely need to for this game, but I want to try to stay away some.
Yeah.
So like a game that will have surprises.
Yeah, the more I see about it, the more I'm very interested. Yeah. It's giving me like BioShock type vibes, but
yeah. Oh yeah, I just remembered. Have you guys I guess I'm plugging another podcast, but listened to the Kind of Funny Games cast this past week with Andrea Renee.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to that one yet.
They talked to Prey, and that sold me a lot more. They were talking about how you can kind of infuse your DNA with alien stuff. And you become more and more alien-like, and there are turrets that you can use to stick on the aliens that are there. But the more you do that, after a while, the turrets will see you as an enemy.
Huh. That's interesting.
It was like, you choose to be more like, you can take like the alien powers, alien or whatever, but the more you do that, the less human you'll become, and it has like consequences.
Dude, that game looks good.
I mean, it's kind of the more I hear about it, I'm like, I'm very interested in this game, but again, it's just so many games.
It's like next week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. Like,
there's probably going to be a game I probably end up getting like a Black Friday or something. One of those games that get pushed back to
later. I was really looking forward to this game because in a perfect world, I figured that I would have beat Horizon and Mass Effect by this time. Haven't even bought Horizon yet, and I'm 10 hours into Mass Effect, so this is going to be a probably holiday game, but I'm still excited.
I have a lot of wishful thinking. I have Final Fantasy 15. Watch Dogs 2. Barely played.
You're thinking you're going to Switch some point by this year, and then you'll have Zelda.
Dang.
But
again, like I said in another podcast, when I retire, like when I'm 80 years old,
it's gonna be great. You can go back to all those games.
So many games.
But your backlog.
Coming back to what you were saying real quick, Darby, earlier about this is probably a good release time for it. Considering it's kind of after everything else has come out, and even then, like Persona. There's overlap, but that's a different audience, I would feel, for the most part.
Oh, it is. Yeah, there is like a little bit of a lull here, like before E3, like it's kind of pre-E3.
I feel like we, at least At least not any big ones for the last while, especially not this year that I can think of. I guess Resident Evil 7. There's not really much of a story-driven first-person like shooter type game.
Yeah.
Or first-person game. That feels a niche which normally is saturated, but
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
not being filled at the moment. So I think that will help Prey out, especially with the demo.
Yeah, I just really hope that Prey doesn't get lost under things, under everything else, and the fact that I haven't heard people talk about it. I just worry about that. But if it comes out, I feel like this is a game that if it like people are curious about but not completely sold on, and if it comes out and there are like really really like insanely high like reviews and stuff and praise about it, I feel like this is a game that really could be like benefited from that a lot.
I feel like from this general thing online, people talking about this game, they're kind of like where we are. We are very interested in this game, interested in what we see, but want to see more.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of different and just with everything else around. So yeah, I think this is a game that could be like Watch Dogs 2, which may not initially sell well, but will have legs and sell more as it goes on, and good word of mouth if the game's good.
Right.
So expect demo impressions next week or two.
True.
Okay, next story. Also from Alex Osborne, my GM.
That does a lot of work.
Yep. The Uncharted Lost Legacy standalone DLC thing has a release date. And it's August 22nd in North America and August 23rd in the UK. It is $40. And if you pre-order at select retailers, you get a free digital version of Jak and Daxter, the precursor Legacy.
It's so cool. It's such a cool thing to throw in there.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Did you ever play those?
No.
Jak and Daxter is so good.
And
I think it's legitimately still good now.
Here's the interesting thing about this. Depending on which retailers and everything, this makes me a little more interested to get this because it's a shorter experience, or it's supposed to be, and since it's a okay. I know I've said this before, so people know I have not really played the Uncharted games. I played part of 1, but since this is like a standalone thing,
I know.
I feel more okay with playing this.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously you're gonna. I mean, we have like games of experience with Chloe and stuff. You're gonna be missing some things, but
You'll at least get a feel for the gameplay,
Yeah.
which is amazing. So,
and it's like again, it's supposed to be around like 10 hours long or something.
I think that's what they said. I think it might be a case of it may not exactly meet 10 hours, I guess, depending how you play, but
I mean, even if
it's longer than people thought.
Even
Like
if
people were
it's
thinking
like
4 hours.
Yeah, even if it's like 8. I mean, like this is practically another Uncharted game. I mean, it's like it's a lot more than what you would think of for DLC.
yeah.
And that's such a fast turnaround from for how big.
To be honest, I mean, okay, kind of looking at Sony prediction time. I was thinking, especially after hearing some rambling before this release date came out, that this was going to be a longer game, at least longer than we thought. I expected this could be like more of a winter thing. Especially since we haven't heard too much about other Sony first-party offerings.
Yeah,
it makes me kind of think what could potentially they could be filling that hole with, if anything. They could just be getting this out because it's ready.
I really like the August release date, just because I don't feel like a lot comes out then.
Actually, me and Derek talked about it, I think last time. Like when we started this podcast, there was nothing, but it seems like about every week we're saying, "Hey, this big game's coming out in August, September."
Oh yeah,
Like Destiny 2, Shadow of War, and I know that's not all.
Yeah,
I know there's more, but I'm forgetting. But I feel like we've been doing that like every week.
I feel like this happens a lot. We're like, oh, that's a really smart release date, and then like, it's
weird.
like, oh, we're also gonna do that. We're also gonna get.
It's just because with so many games now, it's just like wherever you go, there's
and no one
a lot
wants
more.
to be in there with Red Dead. Even like,
I forgot about
it. Might
Red
get
Dead.
pushed back, but as of right now, it's still for the fall, so you don't even want to mess with that.
I mean, it's more of a mainstream thing, but I know it's huge. I mean, Battlefront's now in November.
Yeah.
Battlefront 2, that's obviously a huge game.
No, Battlefront's gonna sell like crazy.
Yeah.
With the movie and everything else, all the story.
Yeah.
I mean, we already talked about that.
I mean, people probably want to avoid that too. Now we're at the point where I know I've named only like 2 or 3 games. I'm forgetting some, but I know there's more. August, September is becoming pretty big release months as of right now. I mean, even just with Destiny, Shadow of War, and this Uncharted, that's the huge games.
We're finding a lot of different like weird pockets that are like of the year that are becoming bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
but like
now only summer has nothing really.
Yeah, I think that Uncharted is one. I mean, like Uncharted's one of the. as far as like that more hardcore gaming community, it's like it's a big enough name. It kind of doesn't matter when it comes out to a point.
Yeah, and this is a cheaper thing, so that helps it.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I was gonna say something else, but I'm so excited for this.
Oh yeah. Also, point to note, I don't think the release date has been announced. This should mean the Jak and Daxter PS4 version should be out by August. Because I think we announced that there was no release date.
So that's, I mean, the precursor legacy. Is that like all 3 games?
That's only the first one.
Okay.
But that's
that's the 3D platforming one. The other ones went more third-person shooter and driving and stuff. So
they went like gritty sci-fi.
Is that the most loved? The first one?
Yeah, that's the one. I think that's my favorite. That's most people's favorite. It's the one that holds up the most. I mean, the other ones, again, it's literally like if you don't know much about Jak and Daxter, this was like kind of like a kid-friendly like platforming game. Like I grew up playing these games. The first one was, and like the protagonist is mute, like he doesn't say anything or whatever, and it's like colorful and all this other stuff or whatever. And in the second one, it was just called Jak 2. And it's literally, it starts off in the colorful world or whatever, and then you like go through a portal and you're in this sci-fi like oppressed society, and there's
I remember the cover art being
and
a lot darker.
like his very first words, he's like cursing.
Really?
Like it's the first thing he ever says, and he's like cursing, doing all this, and shooting
amazing.
people, and it's like, and I think Naughty Dog actually has been quoted saying that basically it was just because GTA was popular at the time.
The heck?
And they wanted to make a game like that, but they wanted to keep the Jak name because it was popular. So it just like it's so weird. I love those. I like the other 2 games. They're just.
I mean, so the third one was dark as well.
It was just Jak 3 was the name of the third one.
Yeah, it's like 2. And then they're also re-releasing like
look up the cover of like the first one, and then the cover.
I remember
of the
seeing
second one.
the second one is like looks a lot different.
But the first one is like it's the one that holds up the best. It's like it's what you think of when you think of Jak. You see, like look at him. He has like guns and like long hair and like angry face.
Also, something else.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah.
Also, what I like about this announcement. Also, what I like about this announcement is it means probably less time for Uncharted: Lost Legacy at Sony's E3 conference. Focus on some other things. That would have been a huge thing.
I was kind of expecting it to be like, them talk about it at E3 and then it comes out.
I mean, they'll probably be like, I could still see like another gameplay demo thing or a trailer, but at least the release day won't just be a huge thing or general story stuff. They can focus on it a little less.
Yeah. And if everyone listening, they did put out like a little, it was like a clip of, it was like basically just a scene from the game. That they put out, and I mean it's not really spoilery. I already watched it. It's a simple little thing that kind of just shows you more of the relationship with like Chloe and Nadine, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
looks so good. Like those games are stunning.
So after this, you can focus completely on Last of Us Part 2. Okay,
it's that time of the week again.
Yep, that's why Will comes.
In Just
Cast. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, for people who don't like this part, sorry. But yeah,
what are we gonna do when the game actually comes out? Like, and we've played it and we're done.
There'll be a hole in my heart. But yeah, since we missed 2 weeks, I mean, we don't have to go over a lot of in depth and everything, but there's some stuff to talk about, like just general things. They released a couple trailers in the last 2 weeks. Main thing they released, I guess a couple days ago, was the last story trailer.
Yes.
Which featured Brainiac.
It was a cool trailer.
Yeah. It very cinematic.
Yeah.
And honestly, just like what you would expect out of I guess, since it's, in-game thing, like a DC animated movie.
Yeah.
Which is so weird because it's a fighting game. Like, I'm excited for the story in a fighting game. It's so bizarre.
I'm more excited for this story than Justice League movie.
I am too, but that's
fair point.
That says a lot more coming from you than me.
Yeah. But yeah, they've been killing it as far as the story stuff with this. I mean, when I think back about like the Injustice 1 story, and this is including the comic stuff, like how good that was and how well they did it, and like how they improved with general storytelling stuff with Mortal Kombat X. Just get me more excited how they improved that with Injustice 2. Like the story does seem like it's to be really interesting, and the comics have started for Injustice 2. They're only 2 weeks in, and it's interesting so far. I'm just to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
Already, so that's a good sign.
I'm excited to see all the different characters. I hope that like during the story you're able to play as like a bunch of different characters. You said there might be like branching paths.
They said there are going to be like some chapters you'll get branch paths. You get to choose your character, and then after you get done with the story, you can choose chapters so you can do the other route. And I don't think it was when I say like branching paths or choosing. I don't think it's going to be necessarily alternate endings. It's just going to be you play someone else's side of the story.
Gotcha.
Which is really cool.
Which
yeah.
I would kind of prefer that, so they could just tell one cohesive story, since it's a comic book fighting game thing.
Yeah, and especially if they end up making another Injustice or whatever,
Yeah.
and they need to continue the story on, they need an ending.
Yeah.
It always sucks when you play a game and then the sequel comes out and it's like, oh no, your ending doesn't count. It's this ending.
That's true. Yeah.
It's always kind of weird.
It's a weird feeling that this is the most I've been excited for like a story in a video game in a while, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah, I can't say that much, but yeah.
Well, also just thinking I haven't played the crazy amount of games for the story in a while. So it's more of a me thing.
Yeah. But we also got Poison Ivy.
Yep, they released 2 just normal character trailers. Already said Poison Ivy and Scarecrow. So, Batman fanboys rejoice.
Yes.
But yeah, they both look good. One thing I guess I didn't like about Poison Ivy's trailer is I think they did better showing her off in the Watchtower stream from this past week. It's like Poison Ivy just looked more basic in the trailer. And it looked like
things didn't stand out quite as much.
And it looked like her fighting moves were just ripped from Killer Frost from the last game.
Especially since we have like Swamp Thing in this game. It seems kind of redundant to have Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm. Well, even for the trailers, a lot of stuff was just like physical hitting moves that were just really interesting in that. It's like showing off much of her special moves.
But you think she looked better in the Watchtower stream?
I think so. They shot off more.
Right.
And just made her combos and like attacks more interesting looking.
Well, she wasn't quite. But Scarecrow, I do feel like it was kind of flashy in that trailer. Like you even said that, he looks OP almost.
Yeah, I think so. That was a surprisingly good gameplay trailer actually.
Yeah. And I'm kind of happy to see that I find it cool with his whole thing is fear gas, and that's why he's fighting and looks the way he does, and not he's a zombie or something.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
I mean, he might be a zombie. Who knows?
It's a cool way to kind of like get around there, like use that. I mean, dude has range. I mean, he's crazy when he like slings his stuff everywhere and like teleport grabs.
Yeah,
they're always very annoying in these games.
So aggravating.
So hard to defend against.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, during the Watchtower stream, they showed Scarecrow again and went more into him. His alternate costume gear stuff looks awesome and creepy in the right ways from what I saw. And a lot of chain stuff and stuff using fear gas and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's when it hit me. Them showing off the gear was like a lot of the cool moves we see in these character trailers are hidden behind gear sets.
Yeah,
I can't remember which exact moves.
One
example is for Catwoman, the cat attack where the cat runs up and claws someone. That's hidden behind gear. That's not the character trait.
That's interesting.
So they are doing some dumb stuff.
Yeah. Firestorm was also shown in the Scarecrow Watchtower stream. It was kind of generic, and at least like what you would expect out of guy who can sling fire when he can be much more than that.
Very true.
They also saw Gorilla Grodd, crazy grappler, big character, throwing punches, has some psychic powers to mix it up.
Winston.
Yes, Winston. I like his fighting style. He fits me. And this past week they showed Poison Ivy in there. They did. I think they did better with her moveset, making her more interesting. I know a lot of people are excited for her.
So, just judging by looking at movesets and stuff, who do you think your main is, Jeff? Who do you think your main is going to be?
I don't know.
Are you more of a bulky character, speed?
The thing is, I can be either or. It kind of just depends.
Who's your main in the before? I know you did Grundy a lot, but
I don't think I ever really had like one set main.
Well, yeah, I guess you do like to.
I feel like it's a waste if I just stick to one or two characters in these fighting games.
I'm the complete opposite. I feel like if I don't stick to one or two characters, I'm never gonna even get competent. I'm never gonna be like slightly.
I mostly did Nightwing.
I favorite Green Arrow. I think.
Oh, Green Arrow was fun. Yeah.
He didn't.
And from what I've seen for Green Arrow, his moveset's mostly intact.
Yeah.
And speaking of someone whose moveset seems to be like the last game, Catwoman.
Yes.
There don't seem to be too much differences.
Was good? I was worried there were going to be.
Her trait is the same, I believe, with the claws. It might be a little different. The combo thing, I think, is different.
Yeah, Catwoman was by far my main.
I think there are a couple extra. They gave her a couple extra moves, new moves.
Cool.
And then
Both her and Cheetah look awesome because I love that fast.
Yeah, they have both those characters to mess around with.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, there are some characters in this that are kind of like just gameplay and style wise are a little bit redundant. Just with like Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing, and then like Catwoman and Cheetah or whatever. But
and arguably Superman, Supergirl.
Yeah,
both Kryptonians.
Yeah, but if there's like even like little like subtle differences or whatever, they have like their own traits and their own whatever. I think
they did a good job for like Superman and Supergirl, for instance. I think they did a good job of like separating them. Like Supergirl uses some of the Kryptonian powers differently than Superman. Superman's uses more of his strength to his advantage. Supergirl is a little more speedy, for like a better term, agile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Focuses a little less on strength. So I think they've done a good job with that. Maybe with Cheetah and Catwoman, from what I've seen, a little less though, because it is a lot focusing on claws.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't even remember what Cheetah's trait is.
I don't remember.
I feel like when thinking about it, it'd be the same as Catwoman's with the claws.
Have they released any more of those like skins or whatever? Because can't you?
Oh,
I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah.
You can
Premier skins. Is that what they're called?
Maybe. Yeah.
Close enough. You do that, yeah. Yeah, like reverse flash for Flash.
Yeah.
They haven't announced them officially. They just said they're going to be more of them, and not every character is going to have one, which makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a lot of extra voice acting.
That idea is still awesome to me.
Yeah. Cool. It's just a lot easier way to add a character for fan service.
Exactly, yeah.
So I am all for that.
And they got like the actual actors, right?
Well, it just depends.
Or for at least did they do that for Flash?
For Premier skins?
Yeah.
They did it for Green Arrow in the last game. They did it for Flash because
I forgot about
they didn't do it for the Flash, at least in the main game, I don't think, because technically the show wasn't out when Injustice 1 was the thing. But you would assume they do that for Flash, Green Arrow again, and Supergirl, and maybe even Firestorm and Black Canary and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it with like Jon Stewart in the first one.
They've done a good job getting voice actors from the show. Like Black Canary's voice actress, I think, is the same one from Young Justice. Obviously, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are their iconic voices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they've done a good job with that. Okay. Last character they've shown off in the last 2 weeks is Deadshot, and he's exactly what you would expect. Like all his special moves, except for one, are long range.
So if you like being that guy who just gets on one end of the map and just shoots constantly, and that's where you know it can move, just do the same shot over and over and over again until your friends hate you and kick you out, then Deadshot will be for you.
And his trait is changing his type of ammo. Like there's poison ammo, which takes away super meter.
That's what didn't
That's pretty much Green Arrow, but it's a little different.
Did Deathstroke have any of that, like where you changed
No, I think he made it. I think it made it his. They made it so it made it hard for you to miss.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, I think from a trailer they gave Green Arrow his boxing glove arrow. It makes me happy.
Yes.
So they need to show up more Green Arrow. Please.
Well, so remind again, when does Injustice 2 come out?
May 16th.
Very soon. Less than a month away.
And I am excited. They kind of, I think even the other one pointed out, the fact that they tend to reveal DLC characters, at least a couple, before the game comes out. Which, I guess, that's good or bad, depending on your views on DLC.
Yeah.
But that just means we'll be those, one or two of those in the upcoming weeks, other than Darkseid.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get to look at Darkseid soon. So that comes out the day it was released.
That's true, yeah.
Also, the final character reveal, regular character reveal, is going to be this Thursday. I think, yeah. And we all know who that is. Mr. J.
But he's dead.
They'll bring in some excuse.
It's fighting.
Half the roster of Mortal Kombat X was dead.
Everyone was dead except for like Johnny Cage or whatever. There's like,
I mean,
Whatever. Reboot.
I know you're kind of joking, but they got a lot of things they can do to do that. Flashbacks.
Yeah.
Scarecrow fear gas.
That's
They got ways to do it.
Hey, Arkham Knight. Spoiler.
He's a zombie Joker.
Yeah. So
He's a zombie.
yeah, I kind of partly because I don't care for his fighting style in the first game. I wouldn't mind if he wasn't in this.
Jeff, you don't like the little whatever wind up toy thing that goes and just like, remember you can just sit on one side and just put the like wind up toy down. It would just
and kick the little air tank thing and make them trip. I mean, I like using that against you to annoy you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Joker has to be in the game.
Know.
You know? I mean, like even if you don't want him in the game or whatever, Joker. You can't have a DC fighting game and not have the Joker. I mean, that's kind of.
Some people would say the same about Lex Luthor.
You can't have Poison. You're gonna have Poison Ivy and Scarecrow, but you're not gonna have the Joker. I mean, no, I'm more excited about Poison Ivy and Scarecrow. Yeah. It's different and everything, but I mean. You know.
Well, the weirdest thing is they're having Black Adam but no Shazam.
That is super weird.
That's very strange.
I mean, it just feels weird that.
Maybe he'll be a premier skin.
I mean, yeah. It'll be interesting to see like Black Adam's moveset because in the last game, Black Adam was a little more brutal. Even though they say power set, Black Adam was a little more brutal in his fighting style than Shazam. So it made it look a little weird. Well, especially with that super move.
What was Black Adam's?
It's pretty much like him throwing him into like pyramids or something.
Oh yeah, jeez.
So that's not Shazam at all. I just remembered that. But, well, then again, last time they had Jon Stewart throw planes at people.
That's true.
So
That's true.
We did 2, right?
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. I think we're done for the Justice for now.
Right, until next week.
Until next time on the InjustCast.
All right. Signing off.
Okay, this is a mixture of a regular news story, but we're going to consider this the That's Awesome News of the Week.
Yeah.
And, well, it's coming from Alex Giladov on IGN. I should probably learn how to say their name correctly since I say their name like every week. But moving on.
We should, but...
Yeah. Nier Automata has announced some DLC. And it is... The DLC pack is called DLC 1D119440927.
Just rolls off the tongue, you know?
Nailed it.
It's easy.
And why is DLC awesome? Because it lets you fight Square Enix CEO Yosuke Matsuda and Platinum Games head Kenichi Sato as boss fights.
That is awesome.
In suits and everything.
Why weren't we able to fight Kevin Butler in All Stars? See, it's possible. We could have done it.
So, if you're ever upset at Square Enix or Platinum, now's your time to get revenge.
So random, but so cool.
Yeah. If you're really, really mad about that Final Fantasy 15 Chapter 13 problem, if you're really mad about it, you can...
And some other stuff from the DLC thing. Like I said, the new content from this DLC also includes 3 Coliseums and additional sub-quests to complete. And completing these quests will net players various different rewards like costumes for 2B, 9S, and A2, cosmetic accessories such as hairspray that will let you change 2B and A2's hair color, new music tracks, bullets that change the appearance of enemy bullets, and new masks that provide special on-equip effects. I think I saw one of the costumes for 2B and it just looked like she was wearing an apron. And that's it.
Of course.
I might be wrong.
No, you're probably right.
I probably am.
Yeah,
Right.
unfortunately.
Her like already her original outfit is basically like, oh well, like every time you run you're completely exposed. Like her dress just goes up and it's like
I think
yep.
you changed costume. That's one thing I would definitely do if I played.
That does not look like sound fighting gear, young madam.
She's an android, her cyborg, or whatever the right word for what she is. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to point out how absurd, fighting CEOs is.
Has anyone actually seen like any like footage or like screenshots?
Oh, there's a trailer.
we
There's a
watched
complete
it.
trailer of the fight.
I'd heard people talking about it. I didn't know there was actually
I think I don't know which CEO it was in the trailer we saw, but they were seeing like small versions of their heads to attack. It was, and then the CEO was like punching them and everything, and suits and everything. It was awesome.
That's hilarious.
Okay, now if we don't have anything else to add to this, let's go on to something a little less awesome. And what will be our topic of the show? Well, topic of the show will be talking about this company in general. And that company, dear viewers, listeners, is Nintendo.
I don't think they're viewers.
They're viewing the slideshow.
Yeah. The big evil Nintendo.
Yep. And some of this will be good, some of this will be bad.
As always with Nintendo.
But
Yes.
we'll get through this together.
Yep.
So
We're gonna start with
grab your loved ones.
We're gonna start with the bad stuff, and then we will go to the generally more happy stuff. Okay. And this is the time where I'm just pretty much be reading an article, like I mentioned earlier, because it's fitting. This comes from Jose Otero from IGN. Nintendo will discontinue the Nintendo Entertainment System NES Classic Edition, and the last shipments will go out to retailers throughout this month,
Rest in peace.
as in April.
What are you doing, Nintendo?
A Nintendo representative provided the following statement to IGN. Throughout April, Nintendo of America territories will receive the last shipments of Nintendo Entertainment System NES Classic Edition. I don't know why they have to put both there, but okay. Systems for this year. We encourage anyone interested in obtaining this system to check with retail outlets regarding availability. We understand that it has been difficult for many consumers to find a system, and for that we apologize. We have paid close attention to consumer feedback, and we greatly appreciate the incredible level of consumer interest and support for this product. Additionally, a representative told IGN NES Classic Edition wasn't intended to be an ongoing long-term product. However, due to high demand, we did an extra shipment to our original plans. The company has no plans to produce more NES Classic systems for North America. This announcement includes the discontinuation of the NES Classic controller. As for third-party accessories, Nintendo said the decision whether or not to continue production of accessories will be up to each individual manufacturer. It has also been discontinued in Europe, and also important to note, the Famicom Mini, they're stopping the production of it in Japan, just for now. They said it might come back there, but the NES Classic in America and Europe is just done.
This is so unbelievably stupid. Like,
Yes.
I know people who don't even play games really that much at all, like or any, like they never really play games, who are desperately trying to get one of these. So many people want to give Nintendo their money. They're like,
That's such a good little like Christmas present for kids. Just
me and Dart talked about this a million times. It's the perfect thing when you're like at a checkout thing at Best Buy, Walmart, or something.
Yeah.
You just see, and people's like, "Oh, this looks cool. $60, 30 games."
Yeah.
that's why, like, they should be making so many of these. They should be putting these everywhere. They should make it hard for you to avoid them. Like, this is the complete wrong way to handle it. Like, and I guess we don't know the specifics of it, but Nintendo has way too consistently had horrible shortages and had a horrible time keeping things in stock. There's some sort of problem there.
Yeah.
Because I see no way it's a bad thing when there's people trying to give you money. They're trying to buy your product and then you just can't get it to them.
Well, I prepared a couple devil advocate type things, but this next thing I'm going to read completely destroys any of those I had. This comes from Todd Phillips from Eurogamer. Nintendo will follow up its smash hit NES microconsole with a mini version of the SNES. Sources close to the company have confirmed to Eurogamer. SNES Mini, or to continue Nintendo's official branding, likely Nintendo Classic Mini Super Nintendo Entertainment System, that's a mouthful, is currently scheduled to launch in time for Christmas this year. Development of the device is already underway, our sources have indicated. Nintendo's plans for the SNES Mini are also a major reason why last year's NES Mini did not see a reprieve from discontinuation. Eurogamer understands, despite the latter's continued popularity and sellout status. So, I was going to make arguments like they just did the NES to keep Nintendo in people's minds until the Switch came. And that was their plan for it. It was a dumb argument, but it was the only semi-logical thing I could come up with. But this just completely destroys any of those kind of arguments I had.
I mean, SNES Classic, that's cool. But why wouldn't you just sell both?
With the Switch. Why not? They're for different audiences.
I just
and then the people who want all of those will buy them all.
So, I mean, like, is this going to just happen again? There's going to be, like...
3 months of...
There's going to be, like, 50 of these. I hope you get them.
Well, we'll sell them for 6 months and not tell you that it's only going to be 6 months.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people react when this thing is announced. Like, everyone will just go buy it instantly, like, not even think about it.
I mean, maybe Nintendo is just genius and they do this whole artificial, like they make things scarce that don't need to be scarce and people talk about it and then whatever. But, so maybe they're just playing a very long con. But it seems like if you completely discontinue stuff, then it's like, yeah, what's the point?
Well, I know you're just kind of trying to make sense of this all when there is none. But
I mean, yeah, there's no sense.
So kind of go with that argument. If the thing would be is like, we're discontinuing the NES now and focusing on the Switch, it might come back later. Like if they wanted to do that, the whole false scarcity thing, forced scarcity, that'd be the way to do it. Say it might come back later. So when it does come back, everyone's like,
it's discontinued.
Yeah, it's not discontinued. People just snatch it right away, which they were doing anyway, so there'd be no point in doing that.
Yeah.
Again, we're just making up stupid arguments to make sense of all this.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think at the end of the day, this is just kind of it's just not smart business.
But yeah,
which is weird. Nintendo every time they do something right, they do something else really wrong.
Yep.
But
yeah, well,
good old Nintendo.
It might increase my chance depending on what games are on there for me to try to snatch up a SNES Mini.
Yeah.
As soon as I can.
How many games were on the?
30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, another argument I potentially had was maybe Nintendo wasn't technically making that much money off of it because if you think about $60 for 30 games is cheap, they still need to make it, and there's the licensing stuff because there are a bunch of third-party games on it. Maybe they technically weren't making that much, and that went with the whole
maybe
them just doing it to keep Nintendo in people's mind thing. But the SNES thing kind of ruins that unless there are like no third-party games on this.
Yeah.
And that's the most sense I can make out of this.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how this works, but
I mean, it sucks. I wanted to pick one up when it came out, but obviously they were just sold out everywhere,
yeah.
and I haven't picked up one yet. And now the prices on eBay are like $250. So
scalpers win again.
Yeah.
Just like with the amiibos.
Are they scalping amiibos too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not into the amiibo market. I don't know it.
I mean, I just hear this from like Easy Allies and other people I listen to, but I don't know if you guys paid attention, like when game stuff, they were always like Link amiibos. Like there was never a shortage of those. When Breath of the Wild was about to be released and people found out that did stuff in it, they all suddenly disappeared. The scalpers got them. So even the basic Smash Link amiibo, which was everywhere right before Breath of the Wild came out, you can't find unless you pay a lot of money on eBay and stuff.
That's insane.
And then they're releasing like 3 more Zelda amiibos. We'll get to that later. So are we done talking about the?
I mean, like we've kind of devolved into making nonsense arguments, trying to find the other side of it. So, I think we're done.
Well, let's go to something a little more positive for Nintendo. This comes from Jonathan Dornbush from IGN. Nintendo has revealed that the Switch sold 906,000 in its first 28 days on sale in North America, according to NPD Group. Breath of the Wild, meanwhile, sold 1.3 million copies across Switch and Wii U in that same window. And 925 units were sold for Nintendo Switch, with 460,000 units sold for the Wii U. And according to Nintendo, this makes the Switch one of the fastest-selling video game systems of all time. Now, if you were listening to the numbers closely, you might have realized the number for a Zelda Switch was higher than the actual Switch count.
Wait.
So there've been more
people.
Legend of Zelda on the Switch have sold more than actual Switch systems. There are multiple reasons for that, potentially.
That's hilarious.
Like, people can't find a Switch, so they're getting Zelda for when they can get it.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Yeah. And Collector's Edition, because people will buy the Collector's Edition to keep in the box and everything, keep intact, and then just buy a regular copy of the game.
That is a hilarious figure.
It's just funny, though.
But, yeah, good for Nintendo. These are good sales. I mean,
Yeah.
Seeing like Zelda's selling well. I was slightly surprised. I may not completely. Wii U doesn't seem to be doing bad, considering the Switch.
Yeah, that is actually a little bit surprising.
And I mean, like, I really, if you had asked me this earlier this year, I would not have expected. I mean, still, it could still fall off. I mean, you see how it does, like, by fall and everything. But I would not have expected to be sitting here and the Switch to have sold like 1 million units in its like first month into almost whatever, and for there to be this much hype around it and this many people wanting it, and for it to be in the conversation, like, it's constantly every gaming, everything's talking about the Switch now.
And seeing a lot of stuff online that people, like a bunch of people online know that aren't gamers are talking about it, aren't interested in it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have expected.
I kind of figured, it just depends how Nintendo did it. I figured the concept would be appealing to a wider audience, just in general.
Yeah.
But, obviously, they had to get some certain stuff right. I think the price is right. They need to get more of the games out there, but I think they're doing a pretty good job of that so far.
I think so, too.
So to see if they keep it up.
I'm somewhat taking back my, like, my skepticism and stuff of the Switch before and how it would do. We're still not there yet. I'm not completely.
I think we can agree we're still the mindset we can't tell exactly. The earliest we can tell exactly maybe how this will do in the long run is the fall.
Yeah.
Once we get an idea of how it is there and what games are out, and get an idea of somewhat of the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After that, see if Nintendo's going to keep up, like, releasing stuff.
I agree.
And speaking of, like, Nintendo announcements and them releasing things. This is a little late, but I'm here, so we're going to talk about it. There was a Nintendo Direct about a week and a half ago.
It was.
Yep, and we're not gonna do like we did the indies thing and go game for game, because a lot of these games aren't interesting.
I agree.
Shots fired.
I'll go into it. It's not as bad as it made it sound there, but all this information I'm going to say, I compiled thanks to the help of Andrew Goldfarb and Jose Otero's articles from IGN. They just made it a lot easier for me. For people who don't know, this Direct, Nintendo announced beforehand it was going to focus on Splatoon 2 and ARMS. And they said they were going to throw some other Switch and 3DS stuff in there. And they delivered on their promise. Much people are upset there's no Metroid.
E3.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it afterwards, but yeah. And I'm just going to go through the stuff that I think is worth mentioning. First thing is Splatoon 2 comes out July 21st. And they also announced the Salmon Run mode, which is a new wave-based play versus everyone mode in which players will fight waves of enemies with teams of 4. Pretty much a horde mode.
Stop.
Yeah.
Do you pronounce the L in salmon?
Salmon?
What do you say?
Salmon.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those words
I've never heard anyone say salmon.
My mom says salmon.
I've never heard that in my life.
See, here's the thing. I don't say it that much. So, and then I hear it a bunch of different ways for different, like, things. So, I think it's one of those words I just say differently depending what time I say it.
I mean, that's how it's spelled. Granted, it is spelled salmon. I've just never...
I could probably say salmon more because it seems more right to me.
It just caught me off. I've never heard it. I'm sorry, continue.
Oh, that's pretty much that. They pretty much announced a horde mode, which looks really cool.
Nice. So, yeah.
And I don't know if...
Wait, was that the first time that they announced the release date? Or
Yes.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so July 21st. July release dates, which...
That's soon.
Yeah.
So, like, in this, are you just fighting, like, enemies in this? That you don't,
Yes,
you're not, like, clearing the floor or anything like that?
You are painting the floor because obviously it helps you move around and stuff, and the enemies do ink, which obviously makes it harder. And it's for... Did I say? Yeah, it's 4 players on a team against the whole thing, horror mode thing, and you're collecting, I think, like salmon eggs from the enemies, and collecting them.
Salmon. Just kidding.
It's fine. Just
kidding.
But the end goal, like, you're not trying to have more paint than the other team or anything.
No.
It's like you're fighting enemy. Okay.
Yeah. And
like, I'm glad. I want to see them do like different types of game modes. That was my one complaint about Splatoon, is that they kind of did the same mode over and over.
Now, a lot of people jump like, "Whoa, this is something people expect. It's a big deal when Nintendo announces a horde mode for their game."
Yeah. And a lot of times, like, for everyone else, horde mode is kind of like, you attacked on horde mode or whatever. But Nintendo, it's such a rare thing.
Again, it's Splatoon's a whole different thing, that it's a different take on it. That's part with the paint and everything. Also, something I like that you can a mechanic they do, like when a teammate gets splatted, there's like I'm trying to think, like a lifesaver thing, kind of on the floor, and when you paint it, they come back. Your teammate comes back to life. It's like a little beacon or whatever, like they're drowning or whatever, and you do it and they come back.
Cool.
So. It looks a lot of fun to me. I can't remember if they said anything about it being like you can do local multiplayer with it or not. Obviously, if you have multiple switches, you can do it, but
yeah.
interested to see what they do with that.
The original Splatoon didn't have any local multiplayer, did it?
It did, but it was just not that good. Remember, it had the whole thing. We tried it out like once or twice, where you were on the TV when you had to use the Wii remotes. And I was on the gamepad looking at a screen. I can't even remember what their objective was. It wasn't that great.
I didn't even know that there was that. I don't remember.
Oh, you did play it. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you.
Yeah. So them adding more stuff like this is just good all around. And this gives them. It's July 21st. It's pretty soon, but that gives enough time to announce more stuff like at E3 and stuff.
Yeah.
The other big game from this, ARMS. It comes out June 16th. And for you who don't know, that's literally the day after E3.
Dang.
That Friday. They also revealed a new character called Min Min, who uses ramen noodle arms.
Yeah, she does.
This game is so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous in all the best ways I've seen. And they also announced a new 2-on-2 battle mode.
I'm interested. What is your take on ARMS? Like, where's your excitement / curiosity level on ARMS?
I mean, I don't know. I could see it being fun, but it's not a game that I would really want to play all that much.
Yeah, I just can't. Nothing. Everything I'm seeing, I just can't get excited.
I did hear.
I just can't.
I was listening to a podcast. I guess it was Tim Geddes. He was like, "Yeah, this is like a really deep game," and I was
That's what everyone who's played it said. That's why I'm interested in it.
I'm just like, I just cannot fathom that being true. It looks fun. That's not like really.
I do think it's probably a little deeper than we think. Like the direct, you can have different
combinations of arms. Like any or hands, fists, whatever.
I know they call them arms. They literally direct and they use their super powerful weapons called arms.
Arms.
Like what?
Oh man, so weird.
But yeah, you can do different combinations. Each character has their own special mechanic. Like Min for instance, can do a kick, thing kind of parry stuff and deflect it. And the giant mummy can block and then absorbs the hits and actually restores HP. One character has a double jump. And then as far as to add some depth, all the stages each have their own thing. Like some of them, like the one they showed off for Min Min, is literally like a ramen bowl stage. And then some of it's pillars and then platforms and stuff, like trampolines everywhere. It just adds a bunch of things. Obviously I'm not completely sold on it, But I'm definitely interested, and I just want to see what other content they provide onto it. I think it looks fun.
It's
But at the same time, I think it's gonna get.
I forgot I had something.
It's kind of lower down on
Damn,
lower down on like. Is what I want is partly because right now the Switch is getting a lot of local multiplayer games, especially since not on the Switch, but Injustice comes out next month. I don't know if I need another fighting game that soon.
Yeah.
Remember now. I was gonna say Splatoon is kind of like Nintendo's take like on a first-person shooter type thing. And in some ways, its ARMS kind of seems like it's trying to do almost like an Overwatch type thing with like a character, like a cast of characters, whatever. I just hope that like, again, it's just trailers or whatever looking, but I look at these characters and I'm just like. I just can't see myself being like into these characters. Like I'm in Overwatch, so it's like you almost feel like an attachment to those characters after doing it for so long. This I'm just like Ribbon Girl. Like nothing seems very like.
It depends on you, but it's supposed to be cheesy as hell. Obviously, with the.
I know, but it's I don't know.
Well, you don't like cheesy things.
I mean, I do if they're done right, but this just.
You don't like all those times when they're done right. Sometimes.
Well, I mean, who knows? In like a few months, I might be all into ARMS, and you might be able to look back at this and be like, oh, well, he was an idiot.
We talked a little before, but I think there is a lot of similarities to how people are. And I know you disagreed with me for the most part, like how people initially look at this and how they initially looked at Splatoon. There are similarities.
But I do, again, like I think that leading up to Splatoon, there was a lot more hype for Splatoon.
Well, there's also more time to get hype for Splatoon for them to show stuff. And Splatoon had the thing where a lot of people were able to play it right away because it was announced at E3, and then literally half Nintendo's floor space was Splatoon.
But even like me personally, I never thought that. I always thought that Splatoon looked like a cool Nintendo.
Yeah,
like,
I know, but it's just
like
the
that.
general perception.
Never thought
like
that
I'm seeing a lot of similarities,
yeah.
And then as people are seeing more and getting their hands on it, and people who get their hands on it, like, oh, this is actually a lot of fun, and it's just, more to it than it initially looked.
I mean, you're right, and I could see, like, even if ARMS might, like, people who have the Switch and are into this are probably going to like ARMS. It's probably going to happen. I'm just wondering if I'm going to be into it at all. But
it'll be a fun thing. Again, need to see what other stuff they add.
It's just and I mean, very, very quickly, me and Jeff talked about this before. No matter what, even if it's the best game of the year, we can agree ARMS is a really stupid name. It's just it's a profoundly stupid name.
ARMS
Just rolls off the tongue.
One syllable.
I would say that really sounds like just like a Japanese-made thing that they didn't realize it sounded weird
that's
in
fair.
English. Like. Even though, super powerful weapons called ARMS. I'm like, do you not realize how dumb that sounds?
Gotta embrace it, Darby. Gotta embrace it. Yeah, I'm interested. I will say this real quick. I think this week might fit later, but we're just talking about Splatoon and ARMS. Well, I think as long as the first-party games hit this year, Nintendo has a pretty strong first-party offering for the Switch. I feel like what could be their downside, at least initially overall, is the fact that 3 in a row are multiplayer focused. Like going from Mario Kart to ARMS and Splatoon.
Yeah.
Because
I like Nintendo's multiplayer games. But.
I mean, yeah, I agree is that for some people don't care about that.
Yeah, you don't want to oversaturate.
Yeah, because for a lot of people, and there's Fire Emblem Warriors and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 potentially coming out this year, but those are niche things.
Yeah.
For sure. For a lot of people, it's Zelda than nothing to Mario. Because people don't like fun.
The end.
But yeah, again, interested in ARMS. Definitely gonna get Splatoon 2. But yeah, we'll go on. Also with ARMS, they announced the same day they're gonna release neon yellow Joy-Cons.
Which will be good to replace your busted gray Joy-Con.
Yeah.
Don't remind us.
Yeah, we dropped my Switch earlier, and the right Joy-Con sticks a little It's working a little better now. It just won't click, so we might be able to still use it for like Mario Kart and stuff.
Yeah.
It does click. It makes a really awful clicking noise every time you
Clicks in the wrong way.
Sorry, carry on.
The yellow is... I don't know how I feel about the neon yellow.
I think they just did it because, well, ARM's
Yeah.
color is yellow.
Yeah.
It's like the color.
The blue and red ones are
And it's
actually
just
kinda
kind of like, people might get more Joy-Cons when ARMS comes out because of the motion controls.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, also just another quick thing for ARMS. Apparently the motion controls do feel good. Some people said better than most. Also, in a weird announcement for something I don't think anyone really wanted or needed, they announced a Joy-Con AA battery pack accessory. You attach it to your
Yay.
Joy-Cons and it increases the battery life. We don't need that for the Joy-Cons.
They have like a 20-hour battery life.
No one needed that. No one wants that.
They're just trying to sell as many accessories as they can.
Seriously.
And let me guess, it costs $130.
No, there's no price announced yet. We can
Might be
rant
more.
about that later. Now, done with that, we'll go on to game announcements. Or, yeah, at least games are coming to Switch announcements. First, they announced Minecraft on Switch comes out May 11th. Digitally. Physical version will come later. It also comes with a Super Mario Mashup Pack. So, big May game.
Yeah, that's really cool to have. I mean, to have Minecraft on the Switch. I mean, Minecraft's everywhere, but and to have like actual like Mario themed things in Minecraft, I wouldn't have expected that much.
Honestly, the gamers don't really care. I mean, most of them don't care, but this is going to be big for the casual thing. The fact, because the world's going to be bigger than the Wii U, the V, and I think the Vita ones. But the fact that kids will be able to do the same when they do on the TV and take it on the go will be a big selling point.
At this point, if you have any gaming platform, you need to have Minecraft on it. It's just
So I think the fact that Nintendo's getting this so early will be big and help them.
Yeah.
And people will sleep on this, but I think, complaining about May not having nothing, but this is the big game for May. Okay, going on. Last two Switch games we're going to talk about. Because bigger names, Payday 2 and Monopoly are both coming on Switch later this year. Apparently people like the Monopoly game, and Payday 2 is just weird.
Apparently Alex really likes Monopoly. My roommate really likes Monopoly. I've never played a Monopoly game, but like on a game.
I think it's Monopoly, but because it's a video game, it just goes faster. You can actually finish the game. and you don't have to do math all the time, so it helps.
That's definitely a plus. And Payday 2 kind of seems random.
That is so random.
So random.
I saw that when watching. I'm like, huh.
Payday 2, I mean, isn't that like a 3-year-old game?
I think it's older than that, for
Older
sure.
than that?
Yeah, I think it might be
5-year-old game?
5, yeah.
That's so weird.
I mean, that's the thing. There's like Skyrim and stuff. People are doing those old games because they'll work on there and just kind of test the water.
I mean, even
the game.
Skyrim makes sense just because that was so huge. Payday was like kind of niche, so. I don't know.
And it's just that like it could be anything. It's just so weird that like when you look at list of games on the Switch or whatever, a bunch of new games, Skyrim, and then Payday 2.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's not bad. It's just weird.
It's just
weird. Never would have guessed that one. And just like thematically, it really doesn't fit with me like Nintendo or anything. You know, it's just.
No, but good to get some different variety.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
And it might help. I mean, one of those things they'll sell many people getting Payday 2 on this is the fact you can't take it anywhere.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
now we're on to a couple of 3DS announcements. Hey Pikmin comes out July 28th. People who do not know, this is a 2D Pikmin platformer.
Huh.
The previous trailers, me and a lot of people were not big fans of. It just kind of boring. The trailer they showed didn't look particularly great, but it looked better. I'm not a big Pikmin fan anyway, so. But at least as a platformer, it looks fine.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not getting it. But yeah, that's coming out, and maybe they'll announce Pikmin 4 or whatever at some point. They also announced Monster Hunter Stories is coming to the West later this fall. I don't particularly care about Monster Hunter, but Monster Hunter is a big thing, and it's a big deal that this is coming to the West. And I don't know, do you guys know about Monster Hunter Stories?
No.
It's all a direct trailer. But
It's just a lot more of a kid-friendly version of Monster Hunter.
Gotcha.
Like more anime thing. I think it's like some Pokemon elements, like catching monsters and stuff to it. Just a way to introduce kids to Monster Hunter. So
cool.
Yeah, apparently this game is really good from what I've heard.
So it's been out in Japan for a while. Yeah.
So Big Deals is coming here, and yeah. It looks like a game I'd be interested in, but with everything else, and I don't really care to play on my 3DS anytime soon.
Yeah, I know people in Japan go hard into into Monster
Hunter. Monster Hunter is one of those things where it'll be a big deal once that makes the Switch.
Yeah.
And yeah, play on the console would be more powerful and take on the gun, because I know Monster Hunter on the 3DS have been sold really well. Okay, and next things, they talked about Kirby for its 25th anniversary. They announced 3 games: Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, Kirby's Blowout Blast, and one unnamed multiplayer action game. And for people who do not know, the Team Kirby Clash Deluxe and Kirby's Blowout Blast are pretty much mini games from Planet Robobot that was released, I think, last year, made into full games. Well, it's not necessarily bad, but because they did that with Captain Toad. And Team Kirby Clash Deluxe is out now and is free to play.
It's the year of the Curb.
Yep.
You guys.
Oh.
So get ready for a Switch game announcement. Oh wait, they're releasing one for the 3DS.
I think they even made a reference. They were like, you could say it's like Kirby's year or something. It's like
Kirby. Get us.
It was year Luigi or whatever. Yeah. Year Kirby. Is Waluigi gonna get a year? Are we gonna have a year of Waluigi?
Year of the Yosh.
I think last year was Waluigi, because I think we got a Waluigi amiibo. That's the most you can hope for.
Waluigi is the titular Mario character.
Okay, and last thing I'll mention from the Direct is Fire Emblem Echo Shadows of Valentia will have DLC, some free, some paid, and that comes out next month.
We need the DLC involve Nintendo Switch shirts.
I don't want it if it doesn't. Worthless.
Right away. But yeah, that's the main things from the Direct. Most of the other stuff they announced were just kind of stuff obvious, like Sonic Forces, Sonic Mania, going to be on the Switch, and a bunch of smaller game announcements and port announcements and stuff. But overall, I think it was a fine Direct for what it was, since they said, hey, it's going to be on Splatoon and ARMS. I think the stuff they showed for those 2 games were fine.
Yeah.
And they focused on a bunch of smaller games, which should not get any time at E3. So this is a good to just get those out of the way.
Yeah, as long as E3 they kind of come out big, then I think that's fine. It wasn't like a crazy Direct that leaves you insanely excited. It was a fine small thing.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say the format they did with the news point things or whatever they did. I like the new format they did for the Directs.
I really, really strongly don't like the fact that you can see everything that's coming before it comes. Like the headlines, they scroll down.
Yeah, that's what I was
like they literally put everything they're going to talk about on the screen, and they go one by
ESPN
one.
Type of thing.
Yeah, but you can as soon as it came up, I looked and I was like, okay, well, I know everything you're going to say.
That's kind of frustrating.
But they blacked out some of the headlines for the bigger announcements.
I don't think they should do that at all. I think that was a really bad layout.
I liked it okay. It was just a small thing.
I just like having more surprises. Like I wanted to. I want to know what's coming next.
Well,
and it got me like I was looking down the list. And I was like, I don't recognize any of this. It's like there was nothing to like. It made me more like
disinterested.
And like droning. Or I saw one thing. I'm like, okay, now I have to wait through all this. Like I'd rather just not know. I'd rather just go.
Well, I'll at least like the fact of it was game, and it just went on.
No, I like that.
They showed a bunch of games during there, so I'll at least
like
that.
Weird how much 3DS there was. I was kind of surprised.
Again, I'm just hoping this means there's not going to be much 3DS, like at E3 or at all. Maybe quick things saying, some updates on these games maybe for release dates. But yeah, hopefully they're just not going to focus on that, because the last really big 3DS game they have is, I guess you can say, Fire Emblem Echoes, and that comes out before E3.
Alright, well I think that's about all we got, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. Well,
now time for the true topic of the show. No,
we're gonna go for another hour.
Our special edition podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us once again, Will.
Always.
Hopefully, have you on more and more. Maybe next week if you're free.
Yep. Sounds good. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep. Maybe I'll be on and not free. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, we still have to talk about that.
Or me and Will just steer the ship ourselves and
Then I'll just
hopefully
take
not
over
crash
from there.
it. Then
Yeah,
we'll-
Darby will get in here and looks like, oh wait, we don't have any news.
Oh no!
Have you seen our mic? I think Will took it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, guys. You can read me and Will's articles on the Data Gamecock. You can follow Will on Twitter at JW_outlaw.
Whoa, well done.
Hey, yeah.
I tweet all the time.
I've had to write it on a few papers,
that's true,
under your ballot or whatever. So and I made Darby Hallman won, whatever. I don't do much. And Jeff's in the world. Jeff's out and about.
Catch Jeff on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
Yep. I literally post nothing.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yep. Thank you.